So, in Survival of the Flightless, you guys are going to be taking on the role of government contractors working in New Zealand. So, in New Zealand, we are currently running into the problem that the kiwi bird is being threatened by some non-indigenous populations. Our goal as government contractors is to reduce those populations to keep the kiwi bird safe. But of course, our actual motivation is going to be making money. So whoever can make the most money by the time the game ends is going to be our winner. And that's going to happen in one of two ways. The first and the preferred method, so to speak, is that we want to reduce two of these populations down to zero. So this is the demo version of it. In the full version, we pull it up a little bit higher, and with 3 players, you got to eliminate 3 populations. But we're going to do that in a number of ways. We're going to be reducing those populations by completing these contracts. Contracts are going to request a series of different items from you. There's bait, there's traps, and there's personnel. Bait and traps have a little bit of variance in them, so there's both good and bad. Additionally, each of the contract cards takes the little card at the bottom to adjust our beginning market, as well as anytime one of these changes, potentially adjusting the overall price of the game that you are playing. I mentioned, of course, that there was a second way to end the game, so let's say that we don't eliminate the 2 populations. Let's instead say that some people decide the best way to make some money is to cut some questionably ethical corners. That's going to happen if people are using the poor quality traps. So the good traps are catch and release. They allow the animal to be brought from one location to another where it's less threatening to the keeper. The poor quality trap skips some steps and simply catches them, and we'll let you fill in the rest. You'll notice, however, there's a bit of a price disparity between those. With good reason. These are more efficient, they're going to get the job done at less cost. However, our government is not going to be super happy about this. Anytime you use a poor quality trap, you're going to end up drawing one of these cards, which is going to range in a penalty from perhaps a fine all the way up to maybe some of these items are going to be removed from the market because of how questionable they are. Bait is not an ethical issue. It's more an efficiency issue. Good bait will always succeed when you're using it on contracts. Poor quality bait, however, has a propensity to spoil. So whenever you're using poor quality bait, you've got to roll this wonderful little d6 here. On a 4, 5, or a 6, it's a success. It works just like other bait. 1, 2, or 3, however, you're going to lose your bait. Now, you're not going to lose your turn, and you're not going to lose any of the other items that you'd have been spending on the contract, but your attempt on that contract is done unless you've got more bait to stock the trap. So our contracts are all going to read the same way, which is good. The top is the requirements. So for instance, this is going to require 8 different items. It wants 3 traps in any combination, 3 bait in any combination, and 2 personnel. Once you can provide those, it's going to give you $25, as well as an effect, as well as reducing one of the populations, in this case, feral cats. So on your turn, you're going to get 1 action each turn. That can be a number of things. You can purchase one of the items that are in this shop, so you can purchase up to 3 different ones. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, any combination that you can think of. Alternatively, let's say that I want to be an enterprising business person. I can buy as many as I like of a single color, but that takes up my full buy action. So I could buy all of the good traps. Why does this matter? Well, 1, I have now a monopoly on all of the good traps that were currently available. Meaning that if anyone wants to buy some, I can do a little bit of a resale. So on your turn, you can ask people if they'd be willing to sell their products, and you guys can determine whatever terms you'd like. You can swap some things, they can upsell you a little bit, maybe they paid 4, but now they're asking for 8 for any of the good traps they want. Totally okay. So that's your first action, buying. These 5 cards down here, in addition to adjusting the market, form our river. It's a collective hand that we can all play from. However, let's say you wanted to be a little bit selfish. You're welcome to draw any of these and take it into your hand where only you can score it from then on out. Additionally, you guys are going to start with 2 private contracts each. So these are contracts that only you have and only you can score. Anytime you would draw contracts, they're going to get added into this hand for you to be able to use. So we have buying, we have reserving, and our final action is scoring. So on your turn, you can spend the card, or spend the items that you've been collecting and buying in order to score one of those contracts and get any of its desired effects. So you make one of those 3 choices on your turn. Buying from another player does not count as an action. So if you're buying from someone else, that is not an action for your turn, and you can still score or buy from the market afterwards if you've still got the money. I'll help walk you through the first couple of turns, and we'll make sure that the mechanisms are running properly.
Okay.
After a full round of players have done, the first player token is going to move. You're going to get the first crack at a new market that's refreshed with this deck here. So feel free to